Hello and welcome to our HMO video series. So this is where we're going to be looking at a number of different client questions that we've been asked regarding how to find, set up and manage professional HMOs across the UK. So we've got one particular project that we're doing at the moment. We're on site at the moment, so I'll show you the finished kind of article in some of the videos as well. But just thought this will be as good a place as any to run through some of those client questions and just really cover over a lot of the key things that we tend to get asked at the moment. So the very first question that we're going to look at is whether you should maybe consider larger bedrooms for tenants, or if it's a good sized bedroom already, if you should maybe consider using some of that space for an ensuite. Okay, so there's a couple of things to consider with this particular question in terms of room sizes and ensuite, that sort of thing. Now currently, what you want to be doing really is when you're providing HMOs is to get the largest room sizes you can. Now that sounds obvious, but there are a lot of HMO providers that will try and cram in as many bedrooms as they can into a property. The downside to that is that ultimately they're not really going to appeal to professional tenants over the long term. There are other tenant profiles that you can make work with those types of properties, but in my opinion they're very limiting and quite restrictive. If you want to keep your options open, you want to go for a professional tenant market, you want to give them the best room sizes and standard of quality of property you can do. So ultimately go for properties that provide you with those larger room spaces, certainly if you can. And the minimum room size you want to be looking at is around 6.5 square meters. And that type of room, as long as it's like a sort of a square or sort of rectangle-ish kind of room, you don't want to be going kind of 6.5 square meters and there's a massive chimney breast kind of coming into it that's going to be taking up a lot of that space. So as long as you've got usable 6.5 square meters floor space, you can get a decent bedroom out of that. It will going to be a single room though typically, and you'll get obviously the required furniture in there. We try and aim for around 8, 9, 10 square meters per bedrooms if we can do. That is obviously depending on each individual property is whether you're going to be able to achieve that. Ultimately, the trade-off as to whether you put ensuites then in the room really does dictate to how large the room is. I wouldn't put an ensuite in the room that then pushes you right down to that 6.5 square meters space, because ultimately you're going to end up with a single bed with an ensuite. A lot of tenants will prefer a double bedroom if they can kind of get that. So I'd look for that. I'd look for that minimum kind of room size of around 6.5 for a single, ideally 8+ for a double if you can, and then anything from there, if you've got excess space in that room and it makes sense to put an ensuite in that particular property, then it can work. Ideally, which we'll look at in a further video as well in terms of room size, room numbers, sorry, and amount of bathrooms, but ensuites are perfect if you can have them in there, but they're not a necessity. We've got many HMOs that work where we've got a ratio of about 1 to 4, 1 to 3 tenants per bathroom, and as long as you fit within those requirements, you should be okay without ensuites. Some areas may be specific to a particular location that ensuites only work. Maybe if you're in a city centre and they're typically 1-2 bedroom apartments that you're competing with, very few kind of HMOs, those types of properties have ensuites. If you're in an area that's mainly kind of HMOs, it's a different type of housing stock, and your competition don't tend to have ensuites, you don't have to cram ensuites into really small rooms just to try and kind of give you that appeal. There's plenty of other ways you can make those HMOs stand out, and we'll look at those in some of those other videos. But hopefully this gives you a bit of an insight in terms of how we approach HMOs when we're looking at whether we go for larger bedrooms or ensuites. And typically the answer with that is ideally you want to get the larger bedrooms if you can. Ensuites, if you've got a very large bedroom to play with, can work. So hopefully that helps. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this content and you'd like to join our free online property training course, we've got a link for it on this page. And in there we cover a range of different property strategies to help you get started, either building a long-term property portfolio or creating a cash flowing property business. We also look at ways to increase your return on investment with any of the properties you're maybe considering. And we also have a couple of cheat sheets and downloadable documents in there as well. Simply click on the link to join the free training course today.